So the bread roll bake burned up. It's got white hot. White hot. So hot it melted the seals out.
Many years have passed. So many bikes have been done. We always tried our best to make sure they would run. Yes, mistakes got made, but still we moved ahead. Another lesson learned. It's another story read.
Well, hello, my name is Ralph and welcome back to the channel. It's my time. Let's go. Today we're working away on the Dragon bike and we've got most everything apart as you've seen last week, and now we're trying to reassemble and put things back together. I didn't find anything that's blatantly wrong with it that I could see right off the bat, but I have tried to replace some things. The primary bearing was feeling a little bit crunchy to me, so I decided to put a new one in it while I was there. So today we're going to go along, show you how we're going to put it all back together, and then hopefully in the next day or so I'm going to be able to take it out for a ride and see just how it performs. Now we've been extremely chilly here. It's like 4 degrees today. It's not my kind of driving weather. I'm glad I got out a couple of weeks ago when the weather was nice, but it's supposed to turn around come the end of the week. So I'm hoping to get her out for a ride and enjoy the weather. So stick with us. Let's get at it. So now that we've got everything ready to go, we're going to go ahead and try to put her all back together again. My O-rings are in good shape on this, so I'm not going to replace them. And we need our primary. And I have installed a new bearing in and a new seal. Just going to slide that on there. There we are. Take your time. Get that primary lined up. And we're going to put some Loctite on all of our screws. And we'll just start threading them in to get them in place. 4 longs. I don't know why we don't have clips on those, so I'm going to take a moment, see if I can find the proper safety clips to go on those. If for some reason someone had just put them on there with the washers, I don't know whether they didn't have the lock tabs for whatever reason. Just get a couple of these in the front, put the shorter ones in first up front. Let's get that aluminum plate piece in place. All right, I'm gonna go see if I can find some of the locks, and then I'll come back. Dug around and found some of these little clips, which are like these. And I'm one short, so I'm gonna use one off an FLHT, which is a little bit different, but it will do the job for me here today. So we'll start putting those in place. I've let those dabs of Loctite sit too long while I was waiting to put these in, and now they're creating a problem, so I'm going to have to wire brush these off one more time. Get that Loctite off of them. Only take a moment. So now I've got all my little tab locks. I went around and found them. I had to use one off an FLHT for the top, because I couldn't find the last one, but it will do the job. So we're just going to go around and double check where we're at. All right. Now, I'll just go along and bend my tabs all over. We can get in there at them. So I'm just going to go around and do that, bend them all over, lock them in. I'm going to go around the other side, put my 2 bolts in for my starter, then I can start putting my jack shaft in and the rest of the parts that I need. So now we're going to get our chain in place. Getting everything in place is a little bit of a trick there. Don't fall off on me. There we go. Be a fuss budget on me now. There we go. Make sure that's in all the way, and that's in. And we've got our the chain piece through there. Just pull out on it a little bit to get it started so it doesn't keep rotating on you in there. Just lightly put that on for the moment to hold it on. All right. And what happened to our nut was it actually broke right off. So it was fatigued in there. So I took them all out and put new bolts in that were a higher grade than what those are. I don't know what they were supposed to be, but they're not a grade, at least a 5 that they should be. So I expect when it got torqued, it just turned it off just like butter. All right, we're getting things into place now. I'm going to start putting my nut on here. So I'm just putting it on to get it in place, to hold everything in place. Once I get my clutch installed, I'm going to pull the centerpiece out so that I can put a nut in and wedge a jam bar or one of the other things that I have in here to stop it from turning. First, I almost forgot, gotta get this back in. We're not going to get that in. Put the clutch basket on. Pull it out far enough here. Slide it back into place. There we go. And there we go. And I'm going to get a new starter clip tab for this. There's actually 3 pieces on it. There's a little piece there that the key from the tab fits in, and you can see the key on the tab, and that has to fit in that and then bend this over. And this has already been done once and bent over and fatigued. So I'm going to grab another lock for it, put a new fresh lock on it, and then we'll tighten that up into place. So what we're using is one for a 94 and up. In the earlier Evos, use one this size, so you can see the difference in the size of them, because the gear on here and stuff is all different. So they use a different tab. You can't mix and match them. You can't, cross them over. You've got to use the right one for the right one. So we'll slide the other one out first. Set it aside. That one out. That one in. And there's also a little rubber washer built into this tab here. So you want to make sure that that's in good shape as well. But ours is in fine shape, so there's not a problem there. You just push that in to where it seats in there, and you can feel it lock into the tab. And these are just a light torque on those. Once again, we're just going to grab the gear with our channel locks, and we'll take our little 5/16 wrench, and we'll just snug that up. Not too tight, but snugged up, and making sure that you got it around so that when you bend your lock tab over, that it'll actually lock over the nut. Now if you tighten these up too tight, you will have starter problems with them. So they have to be free enough there and not too tight. Just bend our tab over. There we go. Takes care of that. Alrighty, back to where we were. And that will hold it while we go to put our clutch plates in. We check the clutch plates and they're in extremely good shape. We start with a fiber, and a steel, and a fiber, and a steel, fiber, steel, and a fiber. Now in the middle of the clutch pack, on these 90 to 97s, they have what's called a spring plate, and it looks like that. And as you can see, it's riveted to the plate, and you want to check to make sure that that is tight. Now this is one of the major failure parts in the clutches, where guys start having clutch problems. They say, I don't know what happened, my clutch is going away. What happens is these rivets get loose, and there's little spring plates in between, and once these get loose, they very quickly disintegrate, and then you have You don't have that spring sort of that's in between them, but you don't have this plate working as it should either. And your clutch will go away on you. So anytime you have your clutch apart, it's a good idea to check that spring plate, because as I say, it's prone to lots of failures. We're just putting the clutch back in just like it was. We're not mixing it all up. And fiber on the outside. If you're ending up with a steel on the outside, you know you got a problem there. All right. Now, just going to put our nut in a little ways in there. We need to get it in there so that we can get the clutch on it, the pressure plate. Now these have to be torqued to a certain amount, and you see guys all the time hitting these things with an impact. Don't use an impact on things, especially up here up front, because of the magnets in the rotor. You could bust them up. You could throw your flywheels out of true. I'm not a big proponent for the air guns unless you're taking something off. So we have our clutch ready to go back in, and there's a small ring here. This is our C-clip ring, and the small piece in here that has to fit back in over top of that aluminum piece in order for the C-clip to go in. And it can be pretty tight in there at times, trying to make that work. Just take your time. Get down on my knees. Not as easy as it used to be. Put that in there. Get it started into one of the teeth is the easiest. And then just work it around. It'll slowly pop in. There we go. And now it's locked into place there. So I put a little extra light on it, but you can see our C-clip is locked into the teeth of these teeth here because we've pushed that other piece back in. And you can see the free play here. So you have to push this back in, shove that metal piece in, then put your clip in. And like I say, start it, on an open end of the clip and work it around, and you can get the clip in. If you have a hard time getting it off, you just put like a 9/16 in there to grab the end of this bar plate. Hold it. Jesus. Alrighty. Just need a little leverage. Loose. What I'm going to do now is take this centerpiece out, and there's a little C-clip that holds it in. Once that centerpiece is out, then I can get at the nut in there. And I'm going to try to put a jam bar in here, or my little tool that goes in there to jam it up. Something to keep the basket from turning so that I can torque it to the proper specs. So I'll get what I need, and we'll do that. So we're going to put our main nut on, and we've cleaned it all out in there as best we can. Put some red Loctite to it. Put our little spacer in here, lock that up. And I think they're 150 to 160 foot-pounds. Go. Got that. Now we're going to pull this little clip out here, and by pulling this little clip out, we can get at the nut in there that we put on earlier. out here. Got a little nut out. All right, a little bit of red on that. Just a drip or two in there. And that is at 60 to 80. 60 to 80, I believe. Here we go. Take our little wedge plate out. There we go. Great little tool, little step wedge plate. We call it, just for locking your primary up. I can use jam bars, I use them quite a bit. But it's harder with the standoffs in here. If it's open with the earlier ones, it's easier to put the jam bars in, but it's a little harder to get them in with these standoffs, so this little thing works great. And there we go, we be hooked up. These are marked in and out. There's out written on the outside. I don't know if you can really see that. And that means it faces out towards me. Put that in. Little C-clip back in. Oops. Locked in all around. She's good to go. Put our centerpiece in. I'm not going to go all the way in with the push rod onto the piston, because I know the piston is shoved way back inside. So I'm just going to touch it there, and I'm going to come back a little bit and leave some room for the piston to come out. I'm touching it now, so I'm going to come back a little ways and give the piston some room to come out and work a little bit. A little hoo-ha just to hold that so I can tighten it. There we go. All right, primary case. I'm gonna move this up, tighten this. Make sure I don't get it too tight this time. 9/16, baby, 9/16. All right, let's get her up in place here. Leave it right there. A little bit of play on it. All right, looks good, looks good. All right, clean up some stuff, get ready to put my primary case on. All right, we're ready to go back on. I put my plug in the bottom here so I wouldn't forget about it. And we also have our two pieces on here for the primary bolts to meet up to. I already put a little bit of Loctite on them. Now we'll just go and get our little inch-pound torque wrench and go around and torque those up. While we're working away at things, in case I haven't mentioned it, be sure and check out my brothers down south, Hippie's Shopper Corner and Slickhead's Custom Cycles. Hippie's got his raffle bike up, and I see he sold all his tickets, so somebody's going to be a happy camper come on this Wednesday. It'll probably be, I'll be past by the time it gets out, but somebody will win the draw and get that beautiful chopper. So be sure and check those boys out, Hippie's Shopper Corner, Slickhead's Custom Cycles. Let's get back at it.
We get the primary on. Every screw is tight. Get the torque wrench out to make sure it's right. Every lock and plate, every every tab been down. We gotta make sure that all will be sound.
And there we go. So now they're all torqued down to what they should be. I'm gonna add some fluid. And then I'll have to bleed my clutch. I got the new seals and that in there. That should be a one and done this time instead of every spring having to deal with that. That should make some difference on it. That will do it. Oops. Now we need our cover. And remember our two long ones, our top one. There, and this one here. Those are the long screws. It's raining here today, gonna be raining for the next 4 days, it said, so we're not likely to get out. But when the sun shines, we'll fire it up and get out. I got a battery, I don't have a battery in it, but I gotta steal one out of the Cluych or charge up a new one. Either way, batteries. Very, very expensive venture up here. There we go. There you go, you old dragon. Hopefully, that will be the end of our problems. So, just got to get the exhaust on. I'll get Pauline to come out and help me, and then we'll be done. I decided to pull the side off just to make sure I had enough fluid in there, being as how this was the first time and it was dry. A lot of things will take like a quart or a liter, whatever you say, but this is dry, and it seemed to me they held a bit more. Now we're supposed to fill it up until the clutch diaphragm, the bottom of the clutch diaphragm, is in the oil. So upon checking this morning, I see that actually, in fact, it is lower. So you can see we're not up to the bottom of the diaphragm there, so we've got to fill that up till it's just level with the bottom of the diaphragm. So we're going to add some primary fluid to it and just bring it up to the diaphragm level. And now we're settling down in there. Just touching. And you can see we're just touching the bottom of the diaphragm. You can see it sort of shining in there. So there, we've got it topped up. All right, we'll just clean up here a little bit, put the cover on it. That clutch is ready to go. So just a couple of drips of Loctite on them, of course. Made these covers for it a ways back. You know, I made some different breather covers and different sorts of things, so kind of try to put something different on everything. And while I was fooling around with different plans and different ideas, I felt that this particular design just kind of went along with the bike, so it's complimentary. The outside's black powder coated, and then the back side here is silver powder coated. So it's not quite chrome, but the contrast is very noticeable. So it looks good on them. And the one in the air breather looks good too. I like it. It's my toy. I realize it's not everybody's cup of tea, but I just didn't want to put the regular skulls on it, or, you know, live to ride, or any of that kind of stuff. It's just me. All right, I think it's time to go around and get the exhaust on it. lot of people have asked me, you know, what kind of background I had on bikes, and I worked on them for many years. I've been here 35 years and running Harley since 1974. Sometimes you fixed them good, sometimes you didn't, but you always learned as you went along. So I've put this little video on the end this week, if you stick around, and it's going to show you just a cross section of some of the bikes that I've built. I've thrown in kind of a collage of a bunch of the motorcycles and trikes and things like that I've done over the years. It's not all of them because I don't have decent pictures from a lot of the earlier years, but this gives you kind of an idea where my background came from. I enjoy building custom bikes. I enjoy hand building things, and the custom thing was just great for me, and I loved it. So I hope you enjoy the video. So we're gonna try and get our exhaust system on now. And I got a little box here to help me out, which is sometimes handy when you're doing it by yourself. Something to rest the exhaust on. A little tricky to get in place. Front one in first. There we go. There we go, closing the gap. On there. It can sometimes be hard to get in there, and I've got a little socket which, as you can see, is not very deep at all, and I've got to get a little nut way in the back, so then your nut will just sit in there flush, and then you can feed it in and try to get it to start in there, which can be difficult at some times. Keep a piece of foam there, because as you can see, you're touching it with the wrench and stuff. One mistake and you can scrape it all up there. You have to very gingerly try to get this one started. I'm gonna try once more. Straight as it should be. It's got a little bit of a cut, tapered edge to it. Still. So close that I had to take the shouldered ones off. Oh, sir. All right. I'm gonna have a good look at it and try something different to get that in there. It's so close that the nuts with the shoulder on them are actually touching the frame when you try to get them out. So I'm gonna put a regular nut in there, at least give me some room, so if I have to take it off, I can get a socket on it. But it's very close at this moment. So I'm gonna have to frig with it and see what I can do. So as long as I've had this bike, getting the exhaust off can always sometimes be patience testing there. We're so close to the frame there that with the shouldered bolt on, I don't know how they forced it on actually, and I had a hard time getting it off. So I can't remember, there's not much room there. So what I got here is a little piece of hex stock. It's all I could find, but this actual outside piece is 7/16, so it's smaller to start with, so that I can put a 7/16 long socket on it and torque it in. So what I'm going to have to do is cut the ends off it and drill it, thread it for the 5/16 fine thread, and we'll see how we make it from there. And then it will no longer be a problem. It'll be an easy on and off. So I should have done that in the first place, but you keep fooling with things sometimes and time goes by. So I'm gonna go make this, then I'll be back. So we're gonna try and get in there with our little piece here. Now, we should be able to reach up in there like that and screw that right on there. Just pull my socket out a little ways. There we go. Okay. There we go. Not perfect, but it's doing the job and it's in there and it's easy to get in and out now. You can see how very close it is there, but it does the job. And that's what we wanted. You know, if I could have had a little longer hex piece, I would have liked to have that, but I didn't have it. So I kind of worked with what I had, and that's all I could find. And I knew it was long enough that you could get out still on the end of it and tighten it up. So, one less headache, one less headache. So now we'll just go along and snug the rest up. Be gentle with these. There's no need of cranking them super tight. And the next thing you know, you got a broken stud in your hand. All right. Get the shields back on. All right, all we got left to put in is our 2 rear bolts. Paying attention to where they come apart, because there's a shorter one and a longer one, so the shorter one has to go at the rear. There, all right, that's on. So looks like all I got left to do now is to let her down, and I can start to do my hydraulic clutch. And I think that's pretty well got things done. It'll be interesting to get it out for a drive and just see what we run into. I do have to put some fluid in my tranny yet, so I'm gonna deal with those things. We'll move along. So I'm going to bleed the hydraulic clutch on this unit. A little end cap, which is kind of neat. It comes out and has a little divot in there. There's a little pin that's incorporated right into it. Very tiny there, but it's spring loaded. You can push it up and down in there. So with that, when this is in there, you just put that in, push the pin up, shove it in. Pin pops down into this little hole, keeps it in there, it never falls out, doesn't rattle around, it's got a no-ring on it. Really quite impressive setup, really. So anyway, what we're going to do is try to bleed the hydraulic cylinder, which is much like bleeding a master cylinder. Same theory, you know, pump it up, bleed it, pump it up, bleed it. Now mine's been dry, so it's going to take some fluid, I'm sure, and this has a different kind of setup in here. And in order to do the clutch on this, I need this piece of threaded rod, and I need this turkey baster with a little bit of Play-Doh. And we're gonna put that turkey baster in there, fill it up, do our thing. Now, I'm not gonna go through it all in this video, but I'll leave a link at the end there in the credits right at the very end. And there's a link to my previous video. It shows you just exactly what we went through, bleeding the brakes. So it's the same kind of theory. And at least that'll kind of show you this kind of interesting procedure that we have to go through to get this done. At first it was a bit intimidating, but now it's just another step in a different vehicle doing a different thing to achieve the same results. So we put our little rod in here, screwed it into the plunger for your master cylinder, so we can pull it in and out. And what we're going to do is, we've got this here with a bunch of packing around here, which is kids' Play-Doh. I'm going to put some .5 in it. Alrighty. And the idea is to suck it down into the master cylinder and also to move it down below. So I'm just going to try to suck some in. That's it for a sec. I can feel the pressure building up. So we've done that. We kept filling it up. We reached down over and pumped the handle a bunch of times. Crack that screw, fill it up, draw it in and out, make sure my cylinder is full. Now we obviously have clutch there. And as I say, if you're a little more interested in what we had to go through there, I'll put a link to the video at the end. But now we got brake.
Alrighty.
Good.
Yeah. No.
Can you stand down, please? Okay. Oh. Careful with your dainty self.
Well, I
Alright.
can't see what's behind you. Alrighty?
Yeah, good. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome, sir. Too bad it's raining.
Too bad it's raining, yeah. So unfortunately, it's still raining here, so I'm not gonna be able to get out today. But first sunny day, we're gonna take her out, get her out for a ride, make sure everything's squared away. But we can see if she'll run. Well, that's enough for a day. Today it gives you a taste of what's to come. I love the sound of the thing with the thunderheader on there. It's such a deep rumble. The thunderheader's not quite like anything else. It's got a very deep sound of its own, and I really like it. I really like it. It's a change from what you're used to hearing all the time with the open pipes and such. But she's ready to go. The old dragon. We'll see as soon as the rain quits. We'll be able to get it out. And really, I can't wait. She's such a sweet little ride. It's just everything that I like in a bike. These bars are extremely comfortable, and we're ready to go. We're ready to go, so come on, sunshine. Come on, sunshine.
He built a beast with a scarlet blaze, another with midnight's quiet haze. Each bike a soul, a story told. The mirror of the man, fierce and bold, through rainy slick streets and desert sun.
So we'll see the drink.
Forge a legacy, one ride at once. Every chrome curve, every leather seat. Echoes the vow that won't accept defeat. When the sun sets low on the horizon line, he sees the silhouettes of his past designs. A chorus of engines, a symphony of steel, whispering right on, we're forever real. Old Harleys never died, they just changed their name. From rusted heaps to roaring flames, their hearts still pound beneath the grind, longing for the open road for endless time. So raise a glass to the man who'd never say, I wish I would have done that any day. His spirit rides on every rev and roar, a timeless rider forevermore.
Nice out.
Nice and finally after all the rain.
Yeah, so I'm sure you're not done riding.
Probably not. Probably not. I'll probably take her out for a bit here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she looks good.
All right.
So, what's the prognosis in the end? The old dragon, she run like a dream. But I had trouble with the back brake again. It's got a Brembo brake on it, whoever put it on with a little disc like this big. And I've had nothing but trouble with it for the last couple of years. I fought with it, did this, did that. I also had the Ness brake on it, which I couldn't find a rebuild kit for. So here's a question out there for all you who's on the interweb. This is the master cylinder. This is the piston out of the master cylinder of the early Arla Ness type cylinders. And you can see it's got a rubber up front here, 2 little O-rings on the back here. It's got an indentation for the push rod to go into and a stub end on there. Now this thing is 750 thou around, 1 inch, 475 thou long. If anybody knows where I can get a rebuild kit for this, for the Arla Ness Master Cylinder, please do let me know. I hate to have to replace all the forward controls on it because I can't rebuild the brake. I did put a 5/8 one in there. I do think it's working all right. I could press on the pedal, lock up the wheel, press on the pedal, lock up the wheel. Took it out for a drive. The thing just went on and seized up and burned her till she was white hot. And she's white hot and she's coming off now and she's never going to be on there again. So as you can see, the brake is white hot, white hot. It discolored everything, cooked things up. There was so much heat. I'm hoping that I've just got a kind of discoloration on the rim and not ruined it because that was brand new. But I think it's just the brake fluid that's burned off. I don't know what happened. I could put it on the stand here and it would rotate, stop the brake on, stop fine. Halfway through the drive, it seized up and that's what I got. So now that it's burned up, I gotta do something. This whole system's gotta come off and I've gotta try to adapt something in because the mounts here for a regular Softail are cut off the frame, so I don't have them. So I'm gonna have to figure out something else to put on there, but I do have a nice 4-piston caliper brake. I've got a couple of them that might work in there, and that has been a nightmare always. It has never ceased to be a nightmare. It never worked properly. Sometimes be on, sometimes be off, and now it just burned up, so just as well. It's like a friend of mine who used to say that's passed away now, and we were friends for many years, Mr. Lloyd Cogswell, for those of you that know him. And Lloyd used to say when he was done with it, he'll never aggravate another person. And he would destroy it and make sure that nobody else ever got aggravated from it again. So just thinking to you, bro, I did the same thing today. So that piece of garbage is going in the junk. I'm gonna put a proper size disc on it. I've got 2 or 3 brakes that I can adapt. I'm gonna have to make an adapter because all the mounts are cut off the frame where they would go, but I can deal with that and we'll put a good brake on it. But I still would like to have this piston kit. If anybody out there knows, or talk to your brake gurus out there, be very helpful. But with that being said, other than that, she worked like a top, and like I said, I really enjoy riding this bike. So, and it's got a killer front brake, but I gotta have a back brake on it. So it's something else I'm gonna have to tear apart and fix, but we'll get her done. So if you enjoyed this video today, like, subscribe, comment, ring the bell, do those kind of things. It helps us to grow. Be sure to check out my brothers down south, Hippie's Chopper Corner, Slickhead's Custom Cycles. Well, we're on to other things now, and I'm kind of in just a little quiet period here, which is really nice for me. I've got some things coming in, but I have some things that I want to work on, and I just want to get the trike out and go run in the nice weather, and that's my plan. So tomorrow is supposed to be even nicer, so I'm probably out of here for the day. We'll see what it brings. I mean, I'll be tearing this apart and trying to figure out what route I got to go with it, but we'll get it figured out. Till next week, I'll see you then, and there's a song on the end for you this week as well, so I hope you enjoy it.
Whoa, yeah. seems the same day after day. Another bolt, another screw, will they never go away? One problem fixed, always another to go. It is the life, it is the seed we sow. We get the primary on, every screw is tight. Get the torque wrench out to make sure it's right. Every locking plate, every tab bent down. We gotta make sure that all will be sound. Yeah. Many years have passed, so many bites have been done. We always tried our best to make sure they would run. Yes, mistakes got made, but still we moved ahead. Another lesson learned, it's another story read. Can't count the times, how many clutches gone in. They've been adjusted right, it's just another win. The fluid's been done, special tools have been made. Never too old to learn some new tricks of the trade. Get her off the lift and roll her out the door. There's always that feeling that she may need more. But you're down the road with your head held high. You can feel the breeze, yes, it's another sweet ride. Many years have passed, so many bites have been done. We always tried our best to make sure they would run. Yes, mistakes got made, but still we moved ahead. Another lesson learned, it's another story read.